will be about the strategy of choosing to pay more frequently. So a strategy you can adopt to save on interest is to pay more regularly. This in red is telling you what I need to see in your DI. There's two ways we cover the strategy here. Both should be shown in your DI, but only the second one is what's actually offered by banks in real life. So that's what I'm particularly doing for my home loan when I've chosen to pay fortnightly. So the first variation of this strategy is paying the minimum repayment but doing it more frequently. So by default, a home loan, you're going to pay monthly. But you can request to pay more frequently with your bank. Interest still compounds monthly, but your payments are paid either fortnightly or weekly, and making the minimum repayment required for that makes a very minor interest saving. Can you get this in blue and the example? What does it mean mathematically? Mathematically, it means PY and CY will adjust to 26 for fortnightly or weekly 52. Please be careful. You keep CY at 12. Your calculator wants PY and CY to be the same thing. So I don't want you to be annoyed like our student over here. He'd done all this maths, didn't look closely enough at the exemplars, where CY, you don't get a choice how often the bank compounds. It compounds monthly, even though your calculator wants them to be the same. And then you change N to depend on the new PY, as PY and CY are now different. Solve for PMT. So can you get that the explanation of the maths and the example, and then we'll do one together. I'll set up the default loan in the calculator. So the default loan was 30 years paid monthly. It was 5%. It was 500 grand. Paid monthly. So our default that we set up for 2025 was this. But now we're going to see what happens if you choose to pay fortnightly or weekly, pay the absolute minimum fortnightly or weekly. What's that sound? Is that outside? Are there children out there? Are they all holding hands, wearing their high vis? That's what they did. It's cute. So the example we're going to do is choosing to make the minimum weekly repayments. Right, if I'm choosing to pay weekly, what's my PY going to be? How many payments are there in a year if I'm paying weekly, yes? 52. So be careful. Look, I'm going to change PY to 52. And when I press enter, the calculator wants them to be the same. It automatically changed CY to 52. What I've made clear in these notes here is you don't get a choice in that. Change CY back to 12. And the only other thing we need to adjust is N. Because that 360 is 30 years of paying 12 times a year. Now it's 30 years of paying 52 times a year. So there's going to be 1,560 payments for this 30-year loan. So now I solve for PMT, and I'm going to type that maths up here. So N is 1560. I was 5. This is still the default loan. PV is 500 grand. But now we solve for PMT, payments, and now negative $618.42 per week. FV, I don't want to owe the bank anything at the end. PY is 52 and CY is 12. So the amount of interest I'm going to pay on that loan is $618.42 paid 1,560 times. Take away 500 grand, take nothing. $618.42 done 1560 times, take away 500 grand. So the amount of interest you'd pay by choosing to pay weekly, just by the minimum, $735.20. Is that much different to the default loan? The default loan was $466,279. Choosing to pay weekly is that. So it's not that much different, which we clarified before. It's not much of a saving. 466,279.6 minus 464,735.2. You're only going to save $1,544.40. Does that seem like a strong strategy? To choose to pay more often, but the absolute minimum amount more often? No, if it's going to save me not even $2,000 over the life of the loan, probably not worth it, okay? But that's showing that if I do choose to pay a bit more often, question?
Would it actually be beneficial? Because if you know the interest is ever so rising, it would increase the interest saved.
Yeah, but do we have mathematical proof that it's not that beneficial? Yeah, it's not saving that much. Now, so that's not actually offered. If you ask the bank, oh, can I just pay the absolute minimum every week? They'll just laugh at you, okay? What they actually offer is this. If you choose to pay half of the monthly repayment every fortnight, you're going to save a lot. There's a reason for that. Because in every month except February, how long is a month? Is it 4 weeks or is it a little more than 4 weeks? It's more than 4 weeks, slightly over. So if I choose to pay half of my monthly, I'm actually paying a little more than half of what it should be, because a month is slightly longer than 4 weeks, isn't it? Okay? So if you choose to pay half the monthly repayment fortnightly, what are you doing mathematically? Halve the normal monthly repayment, make it a new PMT, change PY to fortnightly, keep CY at 12, bank still compounds monthly, solve for N. Can I give you a few moments? Can you get that about paying half the monthly repayment fortnightly? I'll do the maths on TVM Solver. So the default loan, go back to it, 360, paying it monthly. That tells me my monthly payments were $2,684.11. But if I pay half of that, so negative 2,684.11, but halve it, so it's going to be 1342.06, negative 1342.06. And I'm going to pay that every fortnight. But 12, what you'll notice is if you solve for N, you're going to pay it off quicker, because what you're doing is paying more often, and you're paying more than you need to as well. And it's going to save quite a bit of a chunk. So what I'll do, I've done that in TVM, get this explanation, because this will help you introduce this strategy in your DI. Instead of dot points, you'll word it. How does this strategy work? Well, choosing to pay half the monthly repayment fortnightly is a little more than half a month. Okay. I'll start finishing the example here. So basically we're going, well, how much does it save if I pay half the monthly repayment fortnightly compared to the default? N is going to be what we solved for. N equals 655.31. I is exactly the same. PV 500 grand. PMT negative 1342.06. This is half the monthly. FV owe nothing at the end of the loan. PY is 26. CY equals 12. I'll quickly do the interest. So the interest, you're paying $1342.06. You're doing that 655.31 times. Take away 500 grand. Take nothing. 1342.06 times by 655.31. Take 500,000. Well, not 5 million. Oh, that was close. Equals 379,465.34 to 2 decimal points. So that's quite a bit of a saving. Let's work out how much of a saving. 466,279.6 minus 379,465.34. So choosing to pay monthly, half of the monthly payment every fortnight compared to the default loan is going to save you $86,814.26. It's going to save you more if your home loan was bigger. So in real life, if you go to the bank, I want to pay more often than monthly, that's what they'll offer you. Not the first one. The first one was just showing, if I chose to pay more weekly, it's not going to save you anything, okay? So what I'd suggest that you do, I'll give you a half hour. Can you do that strategy for your home loan? There's some people that have said they want to check some maths with me, so I'll do that for them. But do that strategy so I can do the next strategy. I'll do a lesson on it, and then you do that as well.